If you missed the first week of the Scratch Club, this video will help you get caught up. The first thing that you need to do is go to Google Chrome and go to Scratch, the Scratch website. It's scratch.mit.edu. This is a free website that you can use from your computer. Then we're going to need to join Scratch and create an account so that we can save our project. So Join Scratch was up here in the top right-hand corner next to Sign In. Your Scratch username needs to be the same thing that we use in class for Edmodo. So it's 2 initials, your last name, and 2 numbers. So I'm going to make up a practice one, and you're going to enter your Edmodo username and password. And where it says confirm password, you put in the same password here. Just put it twice, and that's your lunch number. Then you're going to click next, and go ahead and put the month that you were born and the year that you were born, and select male or female. You'll put in your country, which the United States is the very first choice in the list, and then you should put your school email address here. And put lcsedu.net after it, and then click next. And you have made an account, and you're going to click OK, let's go. There are lots of things here to explore at a later time, especially this blue box where it says to learn how to make a project in Scratch. But I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what we did this week in our first club meeting. So up here at the top, next to the Scratch logo, it says Create, and that's where you go to begin. And we talked about how our area here, by the way, it might take it a while to load like it is now, but our area here has 3 main parts. This first part on the left is where you will see the action happen. Whatever you tell your sprite, that's this little guy, the cat, whatever you tell him to do will happen here. These are your scripts or your commands that you can give him instructions to do, and they are sorted in these different categories at the top by color. And over here is where you'll write your script. That's where you'll put the instructions for your sprite to follow. And one last part while it's still loading. This is the flag, and most of our commands will probably at the beginning write for the sprite to start doing the action when we click the flag. So that's kind of like the start button for you. We'll wait just a minute while it finishes loading. Okay, well, you can see that my sprite has showed up here, so I'm ready to begin. It's a really good habit to get into. Always tell your sprite where to start, and so to give him the same starting point every time. So you're going to go to the events category, and you're going to tell it that you want your commands to start when the flag is clicked. So it's just click and drag that particular command over here into this area. And then we're going to tell him where to go and which direction to face. So we're going to tell him, we're going to grab the go to X and Y command and attach it right to the flag. And 0, 0 is the center of the screen, so that's going to tell him to go there. And then we're going to tell him to point in the direction of, that's going to stay in 90. That'll tell him to keep pointing here to the right. So even if I move him, when I click the flag to begin the commands, he goes back to the center, pointing in the direction that I want him to go. The easiest command that you can do is to tell him to move. And if you tell him, if you move over the move command and leave it at 10 steps, he moves a teeny tiny bit, and he moves so fast you can barely see it. So what we're going to do is put in a wait so we can see the action happen. So go to Control, and we're going to move over wait, and we'll put that right after point in direction so that he moves to the right spot and waits a second before he does the action. And then let's make the moving be a lot bigger. Let's try 200 steps. All right, so let's press the start button, the flag, and see it happen. So he's gone back to the beginning, and he waits a second, and then you can see he moved 200 steps across the screen. One other command that we learned this week was the turn command, and that's back under the motion category. So we're going to drag that command over. And, oh, wrong one. If you put in a command that you didn't want, you just unhook it and throw it back over here, and then it'll disappear. We want the turn command, and let's see what happens when he turns 90 degrees. So I'm going to change the numbers here to 90. We'll start him, goes back to the middle, moves 200, and then you can see that he did turn down 90 degrees, that I wanted to look like 2 separate steps. I wanted him to walk, and then I wanted him to turn. So I can take off that last command, and I can add another wait time in between the moving and the turning. So let's watch that happen again. Now it looks like 2 separate steps when he starts to do his action. So your challenge for this week is to see if you can get him to start up here in the top left corner, move across the screen, turn and walk down the side, turn and walk to the bottom left, and turn and walk to the top, and then face back to the direction. That was the challenge that everyone was given. So a few hints for how to start that. Let's take away this turn 90 degrees so we can get him to turn back in the direction that we want him to be. And we want him to start way up here. And if you move your pointer, you can see that in the bottom of this box down here, the X and the Y change. So that always tells you where your pointer is. So if we want him to start up here, we need to change the go-to at the start. So when I move my pointer up here, he's about at -175 and 115. So I'm going to change that, the X and the Y, to something close to that. Doesn't have to be that, but that's going to be where I'm going to start and see what I think about that. Oops, 115. And then if I tell him just to walk 200 steps, he'll walk only about halfway across. So I'm going to start with 400 steps and see how that goes. Let's see how it looks. Starts there. All right, well, he's walked too far off the screen, so I'm going to go back a few. Let's try 370 maybe. And then I know I want to go ahead and make him turn. So I'm going to move over I'm going to put back the turn 90 degrees so that he'll start moving in the right direction. Let's see how it looks. Ooh, so far so good. So I need to tell him to keep walking, turn again, keep walking, turn again, keep walking, turn again. And that'll be, if you can do that, you've met the challenge for this week. Good luck.